Everybody, thank you for tuning back here at Fellowship Trading and Investing. It's Sunday night, and we're just preparing and getting ready for another week here in the stock market. We did have a pretty successful week last week. I will be uploading in the next couple days or so a recap of my 3-day trades that I had last week. One of the day trades I had is this company that we're going to be talking about today. I day traded it on Thursday of last week, and I'm actually currently holding on to some of my shares over the weekend and into this upcoming week as well. So I'm pretty bullish on it, and we're going to kind of break it down on kind of what this company is about and why I feel the way that I feel on it. And then, of course, I do welcome any and all feedback. I will be posting this video on StockTwits under this company's ticker. So a lot of these investors in this company are going to see this video, and like I said, I just welcome any feedback. If there's something that I'm missing, if there's something that I can kind of go into more detail on that you guys have, any due diligence, it's always welcome in the comment section. So let's get right into it. All right, so this company, this is BTM. All right, so Bitcoin Depot. What this company is, it's an easy way to convert cash into Bitcoin. So pretty much there's 3 ways with this company that you can turn your own money, your own cash into crypto. So there's a kiosk that they have in thousands of stores across the country, and even Canada and Australia as well, where you can first what you got to do is there's a Bitcoin Depot app. You create a digital wallet, and then you insert the cash in the kiosk, scan a QR code, and then within minutes your cash gets converted into Bitcoin. So through a kiosk, they also have a program called BD Checkout, where you do it through a cashier at a store. What you do is you select the location, of course where applicable, and then you have like 30 minutes or so with a barcode. You select how much cash you want to convert. It pops up a barcode. You have 30 minutes to scan that barcode with the cashier at that store, and then again that cash gets converted into crypto. Or of course you could just do it online on their website as well. And I think online you have even more options of Ethereum, Litecoin, Solana, and a couple others as well. So this company, it does have a history of profitability, and it has even a room for a greater expansion. I will go into more in detail on that here in just a second. And recently, I think it was back in June of 2024, they started strategically allocating a portion of their cash reserves into Bitcoin. So the company itself, they're very bullish on the status of Bitcoin and its value. Right now, Sunday night, it's at about 104,000. It kind of topped out at near 107,000 earlier in the day. Has an all-time high. I think it was back in January of 109,000. So Bitcoin's hot right now. Okay, so they have a portion of their cash reserves into Bitcoin. I will get in the details of exactly how much they have currently as of the end of Q1. And then their CEO, Brandon Mintz, was featured on the Forbes 30 under 30 in finance in 2024. And then this company also established a profit share program, which allows investors to acquire a passive income stream. So again, I'm going to go into more detail on each of these bullets here. I do want to pull up first kind of what they do, which will be on their investor presentation here. So here's how it works. So with a kiosk, when a user inserts cash into a kiosk, Bitcoin Depot initiates a transaction on the blockchain to send Bitcoin from our hot wallet into the wallet of the user's choosing. So again, the user makes a digital wallet on the app, and then like I said, it gets converted in minutes. All the cash that goes into the kiosks is collected by armored transport partners, like the Brinks trucks and stuff like that, over X amount of time every so often. So that's how they get the money there. And then as the users buy the crypto from the company's hot wallet, the company's hot wallet does replenish, obviously. This is where they purchase their crypto from, Cumberland, DRW, and other liquidity providers. All right, so that's with their kiosks. With their checkout program, so BD Checkout, they have over 7,700 retail locations across 30 states. and the retail partners that they are have agreements with have over 18,000 locations. So that's number one of a way that they can further expand is because these retailers have over 18,000 locations. They've only occupied a little over 7,700, so they have room to more than double that if they wanted to. But again, on the app, you're going to see all these locations that the BD checkout is accepted in your area. You of course load the amount that you want to convert. You have that barcode. Like I said, I think it's good for 30 minutes, or I guess this example says 120 minutes. Whatever, you have so much time to scan it before it expires, and then it gets converted into Bitcoin. Now, of course, there are fees, and that's how the company collects its partial of its revenue. But it looks like here in this example, it's only $3.50. I will here in just a minute get into. There's a couple laws that went into effect in 2024 in a few different states that have limits of how many fees can be charged as well. So when we go to the kiosks, as of Q1 2025, they have approximately over nearly 8,500 kiosks in 49 states. DC, Puerto Rico, 10 Canadian provinces, 4 Australian provinces. So the only state that they do not operate in is in New York, but they do have a pending license application. And if they can get that, then that would, again, they have so much room to expand that they believe they can support 2,500 to 3,000 kiosks in the state alone in New York, of course. So BTM, Bitcoin Depot, does have the leading market share in the United States at 27%, and it has the 4th largest market share in Canada at 8%. All right, so their largest retailer, their largest partnership is with Circle K. Circle K is a gas station. They have over 900 kiosks deployed across U.S. and Canada as of March 2025, as of Q1. And Circle K itself has over 9,000 stores in North America. And then an additional 4,800 stores in Europe and other international markets. Now, when the Q1 earnings call, which was actually a few days ago last week, the CEO did mention that at some point this year, they do expect themselves to expand into an additional country or two. And I might take that as maybe a country in Europe or so where Circle K is established, because it is their biggest partner. Now, Circle K also accounted for 23% of their 2024 fiscal year revenue. So again, they're a pretty big partnership with Circle K. All right, so that's just kind of who they are and where they're at. Let's see. When we talk about numbers, like I said, they did have a history of profitability. So this is the annual revenue statements over the past 5 years. So starting in 2020 at 245 million, more than doubled that in 2021 for 549, 2022 647 million, and then 2023 689 million. They did have a little bit of a down year in terms of revenue in 2024. They went down to 574 million, and I'll tell you exactly why that kind of was. In 2024, they really focused on relocating a lot of their kiosks that were underperforming. And of course, like I said, some of the laws that were implemented in 2024, especially in California. But to be exact, here's their 10K based off of 2024. And it said they had approximately 2,100 BTMs redeployed in new locations. So that's about, what is that, a fourth out of their 8,500. So 25% of their kiosk had to redeploy in order to generate a better profitability. And again, most of that was because of the laws, especially in California, that was implemented in 2024. To be exact, those laws included, the list of all locations of kiosks throughout the state needed to be reported to the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation. And then if they were to change locations, there needed to be an update within 30 days of that. And then number 2, they had daily transaction limits now. So effective January 1st, a kiosk operator is prohibited from accepting or dispensing more than $1,000 a day from a customer. So $1,000 transaction limit. And then, of course, receipts, all the details that need to be listed on the receipt after the transaction. Let's see. What else did I write down here? Effective this past year in January 2025. Let's see. A kiosk operator may not collect direct or indirect charges from a customer related to a single transaction that exceeds the greater of the following: $5 or 15% of the U.S. dollar equivalent. In this case, U.S. dollar equivalent of Bitcoin. So, say if a customer wanted to convert, $20, right? $20 cash into Bitcoin. 15% of $20 is only $3. So then they can charge the $5 fee, since that's greater than the 15%. Or if they have a bigger transaction where, say they wanted to convert $1,000 cash into Bitcoin, 15% of that is $150. So their fees cannot be more than $150. That's how I'm taking it. If I'm wrong, like I said, please comment down below. But that's just how I'm understanding it. So they have a limit of course, the fees that they can collect from the customer as well. So there's also other laws. I read one in Connecticut where there's a $2,000 transaction limit for new customers. New customers are defined as customers that have signed up within 14 days. And then there's a $5,000 limit for existing customers. There's a 15% fee limit. And customers also receive a full refund within 72 hours if it's the customer's first transaction, or if it's an exchange located outside of the United States. Minnesota also enacted a law August 1st of 2024 with another $2,000 limit for new customers. And then same thing, full refunds to new customers within 72 hours if it's a fraudulent suspicion transaction. So these laws are enacted definitely to protect from fraud. Nebraska has one upcoming in September 1st of 2025, another $2,000 limit for new customers, $10,500 a day for existing customers. There's an 18% fee cap there, and then full refunds for new customers, again defined as within 14 days of signing up. They have up to 90 days after that transaction to submit for a refund, as compared to those two other states I mentioned before, Connecticut and Minnesota. They only have 72 hours to submit for a refund. Nebraska, you get 90 days. And then lastly, I read in Vermont, as of May 10th, there's a $1,000 transaction limit, only a 3% fee cap. All right, so I pulled up locations earlier of I don't think I have the tab open, but there was I had a tab at one point of the locations that BTM is occupied across the United States, and they don't have one in Vermont, and of course, like I said, in New York. So probably why, low fees can't really generate much revenue there. So let's see, what was I going to get to next? So yeah, they were CEO Brandon Mintz on the Q1 quarterly call the other day said that they reduced their footprint in California by 80% because of those laws. So pretty big movement there out of California. The reason why BTM has been moving up these past couple days, here's the daily chart. As you see, here's the earnings. That was just a couple days ago. A couple big green candles there, was because of that nice solid earnings report. So I want to go ahead and pull that up. So Q1 revenue up 19% year over year to 164 million. And then net income up significantly to 12.2 million. They lost in the first quarter last year 4.2 million. I think 12.2 million is more than what they make it's more than what they made in a year a couple years ago. So definitely a big quarter for them in Q1. So if we hop back to this here, let's see, net income. Net income 2024 was 8 million. 2023 is only 1 million. I think it was like 1.5 million, and then in 2022 is 4 million. So to have a 12.2 million net income first quarter shows that, you know, after their redeployment strategy, seems like they're working pretty well. Their profit margin, let's see, their profit margin, I think here, I don't have my calculator in front of me, but I think it was only like 17% profit margin in 2024, and then it was like a 15% profit margin in 2023. But the profit margin now in the first quarter, let's see, I think I calculated that at 20.2%. So their profit margins are growing again because of their redeployment strategy. So they're definitely on the come up. Again, even though they kind of really sacrificed, well, some you can say they sacrificed 2024 because of the lower revenue, but in 2024 they still had a net income instead of a net loss. They only lost in that first quarter. They were still profitable. They just, you know, had lower revenue because a quarter of their kiosks, you know, were moving around. So now I don't know. It wasn't. I don't think I heard it in the conference call, but I don't know if they currently have all the kiosks that they redeployed are active at a new spot. I don't know that, but I do know that they have signed over 10,000 kiosks. So there are still some that they still need to deploy, and they are saving some of them for their initiation into a new country or two, like I mentioned earlier. So we'll see how that works in the upcoming quarters. Let's see. Yeah, let's hop into the profit share program. Let me let's see. You know what? Let's talk about this real quick. The portion of their cash reserves into Bitcoin. So in June, they started allocating a portion of their cash into a Bitcoin treasury. So right now, let's see. I had it on the Q1 here. Yeah, here it is. So let's see. The company used 7.8 million in the first quarter of 2025 to acquire 83 more Bitcoin, bringing the total held to 94.35 Bitcoin. Okay, so let's get a calculator here. So I mentioned right now it's Sunday night, Bitcoin's around 104,000. So 94.35 Bitcoin times 104,000 is worth 9.8 million. Okay, so 9.8 million that they have right now in their reserves. And again, if Bitcoin goes up, that value goes up. Okay, so it's pretty neat. Like I said, they're bullish on Bitcoin. So as long as Bitcoin goes up, which, you know, it's high right now, and there's a lot of people, a lot of investors think that it can pass the high it had back in January and set new highs. That's going to be good for this company. Their value and their reserves is obviously the value that's going to go up with it as well. And they can always invest into more Bitcoin as well. One thing I also do want to mention that I think is pretty huge is that in the third quarter last year, because of their net income, they think it's possible that they can start a cash dividend to common shareholders. So that's one thing I forgot to include in my little slide here that I was going to talk about, but now that I just thought about it, there's a possibility that they can create a dividend, a cash dividend to common shareholders this year in 2025. So big year so far. They had a big first quarter, so that's why again investors are bullish, especially after seeing the results of the first quarter, that 2025 can be a big year for them. So profit share program that they have started last year. Which slide is it? Is it this one? So it's a completely passive investment where an investor earns a profit share in a fleet of specific ATMs that they manage entirely. Currently, they have over 1,500 ATMs in the profit share program and have raised tens of millions of dollars from investors for the program. So the main investor that they had kind of take advantage of this was Sopris Capital. In March, they announced the sale of 50 kiosks to Sopris Capital through the franchise program, and then even after that, once they recognized, their investment, they bought another 200 additional kiosks, and they also became a shareholder. I have that one here. So let's see. So Sopris Capital, their first investment was in March 12th of 2024 when they bought 50 kiosks. A month later, in April 25th, they bought 2.9 million common shares and are now the company's largest shareholders. So if we go to insider activity and ownership, you can see right here, Sopris, 2.9 million shares worth $4.4 million. That's about $1.50 per share. So nobody else has, this one right here, but nobody has more. So they're the biggest investor. So just kind of shows you the value of what you can achieve through their profit share program. So let's see how it works. And then there's another fund, another equity, bought 250 more through their program. So here's how it works. So here's the terms, right? So it's $14,000 per kiosk. You have to have a $4,000 float cash deposit per kiosk, and then it'll be returned to you at the end of the term. The term is 8 years. Your minimum investment has to be 50 kiosks. So when I was doing the math, it's $14,000 times 50 kiosks is $700,000, and then $4,000 times 50 is another $200,000. So about $900,000 you have to be invested in. You do get 50% of the profit that your kiosks do generate, and then the company handles all of the marketing, maintenance, repair, customer support, all that. Here's an example, kind of like a projection, where if you have one kiosk, right, of course it just said the minimum was 50. So if one kiosk can generate revenue in year one of $53,000, it costs, about $37.5 to generate that $53,000. You collected $15,500 worth of fees. And then after all the expenses and the rent, your gross profit is near $8 million. You get half of that, which is about $4 million. Okay, that's year one out of out of the 8-year term. Year two, your kiosk generated $96,000. You collected $28,000 in fees. When it's all said and done, you made a profit of about $19,000. Half of that is $9.5. Okay, so that's already $13,500 per kiosk. So times that by 50, it says your estimated total cash value after an 8-year term, after you spent $18,000, which is the $14,000 for the kiosk and the $4,000 float deposit. So $18,000, 8 years later, you can be sitting at $74,000. If you times that by 5, I was doing the math, so your $900,000 would turn into $3.5 million. So of course that's just a projection, but it just kind of shows you how it works and the amount that you can gain from that investment. Initial profit share investors like Sopris Capital have seen up to 30% of their original kiosk cost return in just 6 months. So multiple investors have upsized their investments within months. So like I mentioned, Sopris Capital, they initiated their investment. They bought 50 kiosks in March. They became a shareholder in April, and then they bought 200 more in July, just a few months later, because they noticed their return on their investment. So Yeah, that's something also that they have to offer, which is nice because, like I said, you don't have to actually own the crypto yourself as an investor. You can just, again, make a passive income by investing into this company. So, pretty cool thing that they offer. Let's see. Is that all I want to mention? Think so. I mentioned their net income. That I have all these tabs open. I think that's it. What's this down here? So yeah, their net income, of course, 2 years ago, 6.1 million. Last year they lost 4.2. This year they gained 12.2. Again, $12.2 million in one quarter. That's more than what they would make in a year in 2024, 2023, and I think possibly even 2022 as well. So again, they just really focused on redeploying their underperforming kiosks into more profitable regions. They do plan on expanding into maybe another country or two. That was mentioned in the conference call. They do have over 10,000 locations signed. 8,500 have been deployed, so they have about 1,500 waiting for deployment. Like I said, they're waiting for some of those to initiate if they were to open up in another country or so. And then of course you have New York as well, that's pending as well. So we'll see. I think 2025 is going to be a big year for them. I'm currently holding some. I bought let's see if I can pull up my history. I don't want to do that I don't want to do that on video, but on Thursday I bought a few shares. I think it was my average right now is at 203. It closed Friday at 268, after hours 257. So I'm looking good so far. We'll see what Monday brings. I think they can maybe touch 3 or go over that. It just depends on the volume, but hoping this video gets out there. Again, I'm going to be posting this video on StockTwits and Webull as well under the ticker. So again, a lot of these shareholders are going to be seeing this video. Please feel free to leave any comments on what you guys see as well and what your thoughts of it are. And we'll see you for the next video. Thank you.